Yeah, this Cassidy the Hustler. Shout out Mikey T, the movie star. We on a report card radio. Stay tuned in, man. You already know how he carry it. Easy.
That's right. So your bail was denied, and like you said, you were forced to spend another 30 days in jail. So that meant you were going to spend your birthday in jail at that point, Cassidy. So I wanted to ask, how was your experience in jail on your birthday, nearly at the height of your career?
I barely celebrate birthdays like that anyway. So in there, it probably was just a normal day to me. You know what I'm saying? But it probably added to the stress the fact that you're not out. You know what I mean? But I already facing so much trauma that it's like I don't even remember what I did for my birthday at that time. I don't even remember, man. I don't even remember my birthday when I was locked up.
Yeah, that just struck me because I saw that your birthday was July 7th, and then I was like, wow. And I was reading this information.
I was more mad because I got locked up a couple weeks before my album I'm a Hustler dropped. So I was more mad that my album and a lot of the business that I had set up was passing by and I wasn't able to meet that and do that. I was more concerned about missing those things than, you know what I mean, the birthday. But maybe when I did realize it was my birthday and I wasn't out, it did add to the fact, like, you know what I mean, you probably felt even fucking worse. Like,
You couldn't smoke. I see you like to smoke.
for sure.
You know what I mean? But Cass, just so we can move on from it, could you tell me what charges you ultimately had to take on your record and how much time you ultimately had to serve?
8.5 months. I did 8.5 months in the county. I got involuntary manslaughter and aggravated assault. I think was my charges, and I had to do the 8.5 months, and then I got 10 years of probation.
Damn. That's crazy for a man at the height of his career, Billboard charting records. Now, like, you must at this point had at least 4 Billboard charting records, if I'm not mistaken. And then, taken from the height of your career and thrown into a cell for 8 months, basically draining out your career so you weren't as popular when you came out.
Yeah, and my bank account. It's like that was the time that I was going, like, the first album is when you learn in the business, when you just situating yourself, when you proving yourself. So this was my second album, which people thought, like, it's hard to do it again. Like, maybe you get lucky the first time, but the second album, and for the second album to be even harder than the first one is, like, kind of hard to do.
Right.
So I created that. And even I'm a Hustler was the first platinum ringtone. It was selling. It was going crazy. And if I was out to actually promote it and do a lot of the tricks and the things that we had set up, it would have been even bigger than that.
Your third album would have been a lot bigger if you had been able to do the promotion for your second album, if you hadn't been taken away.
For sure. And another thing was the timing. When this thing happened to me, like if it would have maybe happened nowadays, it could have even been beneficial. I would have maybe even been able to get my story out more. More people would have understood what I was going through and how I carried it. It would have been more publicized now, more ways for people to understand what I was dealing with and going through. But back then, it was harder to find out information. So everybody that was fans wasn't even familiar with what I went through with the jail situation or the accident. A lot of people wasn't even sure. And then even people that heard I went through the accident heard I died. Some people still thought I was locked up. I never got out of jail. So it was like a lot of confusion. So that's the reason why the third album ain't go as smooth as possible, because there was a lot of confusion. And then when you did hear the music, it wasn't the exact same music from I'm a Hustler, Split Personality. I was in a different bag. But if you would have understood what I went through, if they would have painted the picture and people would have seen the story, it would have made sense. But it was like confusion because I don't think the masses understood what I was dealing with and going through at the time. And even to this day, like I still be posting shit to this day and people still figuring out a lot of pieces of the puzzle to this day. it's just hard to put it all together. A lot of people was confused, and that's why I think um, it didn't go as smooth as possible. And a lot of the things that I was doing on the Bars album was before its time. A lot of the things that I was talking about with ratting and people not carrying it a certain way is happening now. But now people seeing rappers doing it as we speak, so they understand what I'm saying. But I said this 10, 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But people just starting to understand the things that I've been saying. So
Yeah, Cass. Not to mention the hundreds of thousands of dollars you missed out on by being taken into custody while your album was out. All the performances and the appearances you were going to get for I'm a Hustler, they just drained that. 8 months, that's a lot of appearances you were going to do. Like you said, before you even knew you had a warrant, you were on the road in different cities doing different things. So it really stalled out your career, man. But I'm glad we could talk about it here together. So in the future, when we do interviews, we can move on to the new stories, to the new projects. You know, I just feel like it's important that we cover the history that, like you said, a lot of people might not know because they didn't have the direct contact to get the information back then.
for sure.
And that's why I do this shit, Cass, because when I was younger, man, when 2008, 2007, 2005, I didn't get enough information on my artists, you know, the artists that I was interested in. So I was like, I want to make an impression on the game so people aren't out there feeling the same way that I was feeling.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I appreciate you for doing this interview, bro.
And to bring the facts to the streets, man. That's why I be tapping in with you every time you reach out.
Appreciate you, man.